right, everybody, welcome to the party, or as I also like to call it, the 9th Travel Massive live show. My name is Jean. You may remember me from Travel Massive live shows such as Stranded in Berlin, or tools that every travel blogger should have in their toolbox. So I'm going to be your host for today, and I'm going to be the hostess with the mostest and the most burnt toast. I'm not even going to lie. So today I tried to bake some bread. I did break bread, and then I burnt my toast in a truly phenomenal fashion. So I can certainly say that one of the isolation tasks I am not going to be continuing with here is culinary lifestyle content creation. Now, I will just start very quickly. If you haven't had the pleasure of meeting me along the road at an event, my name is Jean. I've been a travel blogger for 7 years, and my most favourite thing to do at the moment is I am chapter leader here in Melbourne, Australia. And tonight I am joined by some pretty epic people. We've brought together a really interesting panel from around the world, and we're going to deep dive into content creation then and now. So I'm actually going to bring in our panelists tonight. So we have Kash from Germany, Darley, who is in New York, and we have Roxanne from Mumbai. So a few little housekeeping things at the moment. I just wanted you guys to see everyone who is going to be on discussion tonight. We are going to hide people when they're not having chats, as I have a bit of a freelance ramble at them. And we are going to ask, if you have any questions for us, pop over to the Travel Massive event page. We've got a cool new system going where you can leave comments, you can ask us any questions, and we can see them, and the admin team can ping us anything if there's something truly amazing. Now, I know some people have already asked questions. Kudos to you. Absolutely love it. As we go along tonight, I am going to pick out those questions for the particular panelists tonight and go through them. So we're going to get going. Does anyone have any questions yet? Look at these comments are coming through. This is amazing. If you also want to just shout out to us or any of the panelists, let us know where you're joining us from today. It would be amazing to see. So far, I can see on Facebook, we've got someone from Japan, someone from Romania, and it's amazing. I just love how many people we've got coming around and joining us. So today, we are going to start with the super fun and the amazing Kash. Now, if you guys don't know Kash, I'm actually going to let him introduce himself, because this is a man who has just got so many different sides to him and so much going on. I am not going to do him and the work that he does justice. So Kash, please, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello, everybody. Hope you can all hear me well and loud and clear. I am known as Kash, the Budget Traveler. I am based in Berlin at the moment. I've been blogging at a platform called The Budget Traveler for now 11 years. And it's all about how to travel in style on a budget. And I have authored a book about my love of hostels, which I'll be talking about on the show. It's called The Grand Hostels, Luxury Hostels of the World. And yeah, I'm a content strategist. I'm also part of a great network of travel bloggers, content creators called iAmbassador. We create campaigns for brands and destinations around the world. So I dabble a bit in that. And yeah, I'm very excited about talking today about a new project I've been working on called Adopt a Hostel.
It's amazing. So before we dive into your Adopt a Hostel, which I am so keen to hear about, much like you, I do tend to find myself living the hostel dream when I travel. And it's not like when maybe some of us were a bit younger and hostels were 40-bed dorms. You didn't know what you were going to catch from the bed sheets. The level of luxury that hostels have recently come up with in the last 3 or 4 years that I've noticed is just fascinating to me, how they've pivoted, changed, adapted to what travelers like you and I are actually after.
Yeah.
But before we dive into something that we could do a whole panel discussion on hostel life and what not to do in hostels, how has the COVID-19 situation affected you?
Personally, it's been a dark searching period. I think for all of us in the industry, it's been something we didn't see coming, and it still feels very surreal waking up some days and waking up to this new reality. And it's tough because it's a personal tragedy for so many people involved, and every day you see headlines and things, and you see people. We won't go into politics today, but it feels very disempowering is the word I would use, because you feel that you can't control or help. And I think all of us in the industry of content creators and bloggers, influencers, whatever you want to call yourself, we all genuinely enjoy helping people travel, and that comes from a deep desire of wanting to help people. And I think that desire is still there, but it's very confusing. I'm not been very creative. I have some friends of mine who've been cranking out blog posts and being super creative, and I just like shake my head and think, I wake up in the morning and my brain's just scrambled. I have all these weird, vivid dreams every night. So yeah, it's a great, very confusing time, but it's also a period of growth. Also, I've been running every day. I've been trying to take care of myself and my mental health, which is a priority.
So
and
have you
I've been
made bread
working.
yet?
I have made pizza.
Excellent.
I baked my first pizza at the ripe old age of 41. I made pizza for the first time, and I told my partner Sabrina, I was like, "This is so easy. Why have we not done this all our life? You know, it's so easy. Get a bit of yeast, to mix it all together with the flour, warm water, and it's so good." And yeah, that's been a
So in
revelation.
Germany,
And
I'm going to assume you've actually been able to find yeast to buy. I'm based here in Australia, and it's a rare commodity.
it was tough. We paid a few visits before we finally found a tub of fresh yeast, not just powdered yeast, but fresh yeast.
Oof.
But
The world that we're now
guess it was
living
a
in,
lucky
my
day.
friend. So talking about things that are really hard to find at the moment, be really interesting just to hear about how you're finding how COVID has affected your business and the reasons for you creating the Adopt a Hostel program.
So from a content creator, I've been doing this for 11 years, and it's 11 years of hard work building the Budget Traveler blog and creating, working on campaigns with destinations and brands, and that has all pretty much grinded to a halt. We've had to postpone a few campaigns. We were going to do a big project with Get Your Guide this summer, and that's been now postponed. It hasn't been cancelled, so they've been fantastic and very understanding. And the in terms of work, there's nothing at the moment. Traffic has gone down 70%. Passive income has almost grinded to a halt.
Yeah. It's a common story that we're hearing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Lack of traffic. There's no more passive income coming through. People just aren't traveling. So content creators who are focused on travel cannot make the same level of money that we were like just 2-3 months ago.
Yeah, and I think that's still for a lot of people, that's still a very difficult reality to accept. I still think we're in a period of shock, and we're adjusting to whatever this new reality is. We still don't know what the new reality is, and we still don't know when it will be safe to travel. So what do you as a content creator do? It kind of sometimes feels irrelevant, because look at everybody's personal situations and what's unraveling at the moment. It's a conversation I've had with myself and with other friends in the industry. But it's important to give people dreams and to make believe that there is something better around the corner, that there's still a world of opportunities and possibilities open. And I think that's where lots of destinations are waking up, and a lot of content creators are waking up to that possibility and creating great content.
So going back to giving people something to dream, it's great to say, hey, come to Germany, come to Berlin, let's go to Hamburg and have an amazing time. But if the hostels aren't there, and the affordable accommodation isn't there for people for when, you know, we can sort of kick on and travel again, whether it's domestic travel or it's international travel for some of us. What options is there? Was this one of the things that sort of inspired you to create the Adopt a Hostel program, is ensuring that these businesses are still there in 12 months' time?
Yeah, so this was basically in this period of trying to help people and trying to ask myself, my question is, how can I help my community and how can I help the people I work with? And I found a hostel, two hostels, one in Rome called the Beehive and one in Finnish Lapland called the Seven Fells Hostel. And they were both struggling because cash flow is a big issue at the moment for these hostels because they have no reservations going forward. So what they did was they were asking, can we sell vouchers and encourage people to use these vouchers against future stays? But the problem that they were facing and many other hostels were facing is that they didn't have the technical platform to sell vouchers. And this is where I was having a conversation with two amazing people, Lior from Hostel Consulting and Charlotte and Rosie from Stay the Night. And they're both consultants for the hostel industry, and we were talking about what can we do, and we said, why don't we create a voucher platform? So we created from scratch a new platform called www.adoptahostel.com, and it's very simple. People can go there, can adopt a hostel of their choice, and there's now over 150 hostels on the platform from 48 countries at the moment.
Amazing.
And yeah, we've been basically 3 weeks not sleeping, putting this together, and we went live last week, and we've already had some amazing feedback. And it's very simple. You can just go on the platform, go by country, and pick a hostel that you would, or a place that you would like to visit in the future. And the vouchers are valid for this year, next year. So
amazing. Now, have you considered expanding that out to other businesses within the tourism industry?
We haven't yet. We want to focus, obviously at the moment, our sole focus is on the hostel industry. We want to make this work because we've had so many hostels sign up. So we're focusing all our efforts. Currently, we're doing a lot of media outreach and we're reaching out to bloggers, YouTubers, media, anybody who wants to feature the project. We're looking for people to support us at the moment. So that's where our focus is. But already we've had a few people from different industries saying, can we use your idea and adapt it to our industry? And we're very open to helping that conversation go forward.
Fantastic. So everyone out there, if you are a content creator and you'd like to lend a bit of your time out to Kash, you can follow him on the Travel Massive platform, send him a message, and look, we're all in this together. Let's see what amazing work we can do to get these hostels through the next, let's be honest, we're looking at the next 12 to 18 months, that we really want to make sure that businesses are still around for. So, Kash, we sort of spoke about how you are making pizza, you're adopting hostels in your downtime. You're kind of being an all-around dead set ISO champ, as we'd say down here in Australia. Now, how do you see a path forward? I know it's a very layered, like a pavlova cake question. How do you see the path moving forward for content creators?
I think we've been all asking ourselves, what is the new normal for travel? And the thing is that we still don't know it. The one thing that is within our control is that we have the ability to influence and help people within our industry. And I think this is a good time to reinvent, I wouldn't call it reinvention, but a reappraisal of what work we do, because I feel we're very negatively represented in the media when people say the word influencer, and I don't think it accurately represents the work we do. So I think this is a time for us to also take a very good look at what we're doing, look at all the people we help within our industry, whether they're hostels, hotels, tour operators, and go to these people that we built relationships over the last few years and have a conversation saying, what's happening with you? How can I help you? And what I'd like to see going forward is more social responsibility from our industry, that I think there's a lot of amazing content creators that already do that, and I'm very well aware of that, but I think we can do even more. So what I would like to see is, as travelers become more conscious and socially responsible, we as content creators also have to step up to the plate and really show that we, our influencers really give a damn about the industry, and that's what we should be focusing our efforts on now.
Amazing. So everyone, you've heard it from the ISO legend champ himself, Kash, that it's time to pivot. Let's all be agile and do a lot of other amazing corporate buzzwords that many of us left the corporate world to avoid, and start looking at how, as an industry, we can work together to help one another. That's awesome. All right, Kash, I'm going to let you have some downtime off screen, and I'm going to bring in Darley.
Hello.
Hello, Darley, from the wonderful world of New York. And it's really
New
early
York
in the
City.
morning there.
Got up super early for this, and it made me think of my flying days, my travel days. So fitting.
Did it make you just really excited when you set your alarm clock for like 4 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock, 5:30, all those snooze buttons so that you don't miss that important taxi to the lounge room?
Yes, I have. I set like 3 alarms because I have missed a flight before, an early flight. It was not a good situation. I ended up spending a day at the airport, so that was not amazing. So I always set 3 alarms, and then I usually have phone a friend. So I have a friend who will text or call me and say, "Are you awake?" And I'm like, "Yes, okay."
So right now, what would you give to be in an airport having missed an early morning flight?
I would love it. Yeah, I can't wait to travel again like everyone else. I'm really, really missing it. And like everyone else, did not expect this coming down the pipeline, but that is life for you. And it's makes you just think about and value things even more.
Yeah. All right, so let's just circle back, because I kind of skipped that introduction part. For those of you who don't know Darley, she has previously been living the old school travel dream lifestyle as a TV presenter and a producer, and doing these amazing video content. Before blogs came around, that's what I certainly know, like, Australian kids were looking forward to. Like, you wanted to be the presenter on postcards and going around the world.
Yes,
Darley?
Yeah.
Is there anything else I've missed there?
No, I mean, I've been traveling for over a decade, producing TV shows that are on PBS and Amazon Prime. They air even in Australia. We're on an equestrian network in Australia. I do a show where I horseback ride around the world. So loving it, living the dream. It was what I wanted to do. And not traveling these days.
So it's kind of the obvious question about how the crisis has affected your business, and it's impacted you. Like, you're in New York City, the epicenter, pretty much from what we're hearing outside of the States, of the hotspots is where you are. How are you dealing with this situation and your business? Like, how are you reaching out to partners? Are you talking to people? Are you just putting the pause button on everything?
Well, I mean, for filming wise, the pause button got put on us. So we definitely have canceled a lot of things that I was going to be traveling and filming in new destinations. A lot of them were domestic, but they still are canceled right now. So not creating any new content right now, and just trying to stay safe and healthy here in New York, which is totally different than it was before as well. So not creating anything new. And I mean, thankfully I have done a lot of filming and video work over the years. So I'm revisiting all of that content and figuring out new distribution and new ways to utilize it, and just trying to be creative and think outside of the box. But and definitely staying in touch with partners and people that we've worked with, because I do think things are going to turn around at some point, and you do want to be top of mind for folks and partners and friends. And also, I think it's a great way to get ideas about things, is to chat with other folks that you've worked with in the past and see what other people are doing. And then, of course, doing a lot of social media like this and going live and staying in touch that way as well.
So are you finding that, like, the people that you've previously worked with, the brands, tourism boards that you're reaching out, you're touching base with, what's the feeling from them? Are they saying that, campaigns are going to happen this summer for you, or maybe is it going to be fall, or is it just that we're going to wait and see, but we still want to do something?
It's a wait and see. I mean, I think it's a pause. People are thinking about what's next. And a lot of people are thinking of those campaigns that keep them top of mind. Because the thing about it is, which I think is really interesting, it's not a good time to travel. You can't really plan anything right now, but everyone is consuming content. So on one end of it, I think it is a good time to get messaging in some way out, or educate people about your destination or place, or use content that you have that does educate people about the world and cultures, because people are consuming all of this content and they want it. They want to take virtual trips. They want to take virtual vacations. They want to live vicariously. They just can't do it now. I do think it'll resurge in the future, but I don't see partners that we've worked with, destinations, airlines, brands, no one's doing anything right now, and they're very cautious. Everyone's very cautious because they don't want to tell people to do something or have a call to action in some way, even if it's a mistaken call to action, because they don't want, I mean, I even work with parks and places that are closed right now, and they don't want to advertise the fact that, you can't go to this park and take a walk because they've closed the park. So it's a very interesting time. It's a time of being cautious and looking towards the future and not really knowing what to do next.
It's just, I like to say it's a fun time for everybody, because if I sit here and think about that, it's just a troubling time. Again and again, I'm going to cry, and nobody looks good after a good cry, especially not when you're on live. One of the things that's like, what are you actually doing now with your downtime? Like, what are you doing that's not revisiting old content, spinning it to new content, joining us here today? What does Darley do to relax?
So I'm trying to cook. I mean, this is so interesting. I love to eat. I've had lessons in cooking from all these amazing chefs as I've filmed around the world. I cannot cook. So but I'm cooking like 3 meals a day, and it's crazy, and I'm learning to cook, and I'm actually enjoying it, I have to say. But yeah, no, I'm learning to cook. I said I was going to learn a language, but I really haven't done that. And then I'm jogging and taking runs around New York. The streets are very quiet. I'm trying to avoid people in general, obviously. And in New York right now, you can literally jog down the center of a street and that's your space. So I'm just getting out there, but staying in a lot, which is interesting.
And are the roads in New York City closed? Like to traffic?
They have closed a couple roads to traffic. It's so interesting because I moved to New York a year ago, and one of my goals was to do more travel in New York and see New York. And of course, I can't even do that now. I'm just staying literally within a couple block radius. And I just want to kind of even go to another neighborhood at some point. But friends of mine that also bike have said that they've been closing a few roads so people can bike on them, which I think is interesting. But it's just quiet. You don't even really see a lot of taxis around, which that would be so bizarre in New York.
I almost can't envision that, going to New York and not seeing the taxis everywhere. But who knows, maybe this could be a new sort of video content schedule for you. The empty streets of New York. I thought about it.
Yeah, no, I thought about, I do a lot of 360 filming, which I love. I think it's super cool. But I think, I might have to take one of my daily walks or runs with my 360 camera and just show people that you can social distance right now. I mean, I'm trying not to go outside too much as well, and and stay healthy and keep other people healthy that way. But yeah, I think it's an interesting time, and just when people look at New York right now, it's very different.
Yeah. So for those of us that are able to leave the house somewhat, like in yourself and our next guest, Roxanne, can not really leave at all. Do you think now is a time for content creators to dive into the video production world? One of the questions we got asked on our Travel Massive page was about, is Instagram and YouTube going to take over the more traditional written content creator? So would you suggest that people should be learning a new skill in video content creation?
So one thing I think is interesting is that I think it's always good to have diverse skills. I mean, I'm not creating as much video right now, but I'm editing, because I edit. So I'm editing video, and I'm doing a lot of writing. So I'm kind of pivoting back to some of my old skills. I think it's a good time to do things like this, to go live and to be present on social media and engage with people that way, and work on growing, your engagement and your community base there. I think video is an awesome medium and a great way to tell stories. So if you have obviously everyone can use their phones now, which is great. So if you have a phone and you want to experiment, I think it's a great way to start learning now. And the editing programs, I use Premiere. It's not that hard to learn and work with. And there's so many different choices now for editing platforms and programs that you can easily dive into and experiment with. And if you have the time now, whether you learn a language or cook, maybe you start video too. Maybe you start videoing your cooking lessons and making your bread. I don't know.
No, my bread was delightful, but the toast afterwards was not. So I will never be one of those amazing recipe YouTubers at all.
Me neither.
No, but that's okay. Yeah, the pets love having me at home 24/7 as I sit here on another Zoom call. So the one thing, are you seeing, again, we're just going to focus on the video part of things. Are you seeing video content creators, I'm going to drop the phrase here, selling out, walking away from their brand values just so that they can actually get income? Kash and I were just saying, a lot of us are down. Traffic is down, 70, 80%. There's no advertising revenue. There's no passive income from affiliates. So are we seeing in your world, the video world, people creating perhaps not on-brand content just so that they can pay the bills?
I haven't seen that as much because I don't know who would be necessarily advertising or how you would monetize it at this point. I mean, I think if you have travel content or related content, people do want to watch it now. So if you've got a medium like YouTube and you can monetize it that way through ad streams, I think that you can do that now, and there will be more people watching it, and you can gain an audience right now. I think there's a positive in that people are looking for good content. I'm watching all of the Remember Us, Don't Forget Us videos that not only Uber's doing, but tourism boards are doing. And I think I've been looking at those and finding those interesting because I feel like some bigger players started to do them. I saw one from Chile, which was beautiful. I started to see some big players do it, and now little players are getting on board, and little CBBs and smaller tourism boards are doing them as well. And I think those are interesting. I think they can be good if they're done well. Obviously it can be overdone too. And it's like any video that's done by a tourism entity is different from a video done by a content creator, right? So
definitely.
And I mean, one thing that I think is interesting about this community is a lot of us are seeking that authenticity. And that's why we love what we do, because we're looking to tell authentic stories and to show what things are really like, good and bad, but hopefully like the beautiful and great things too. So I think it's an interesting time to reflect back and look forward for content. But I think some of the videos that I've seen have been interesting.
So are you worried about destinations losing that level of authenticity? Because people like yourself, you're not out there creating a balanced impression of the destination. And we're now reliant on tourism boards to create the content and to present it to us as well.
I think people will always be creating that authentic content. I think we might see it in a little more of a raw way moving forward, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I've been reading about what's trending for mediums now, and I don't know if you've seen this too, but TikTok is just huge right now. And one of the reasons that they're saying it's doing so well is because people actually don't want to see those glossed over beautiful Instagram images. Yeah. They want to see something a little more raw. So I think there's a chance for people to reinvent themselves and for content to get a little bit reinvented as we move forward, and people actually go out and get back to that kind of grassroots journalism that is out there. And they show things from a live perspective, from a raw perspective. They walk through with their 360 or iPhone camera and they show something. And maybe it won't be as beautiful and produced, but it will be content nonetheless that will get out there and people will see things in that way. I kind of like that content sometimes, especially when I'm looking for a destination and I don't want to see a manufactured view of it. I really want to know what it's like to be there. I want to just see it. So I think that content could emerge in a whole new and better way, which I think can be exciting. It is a positive to look at on the video front.
Oh, it definitely is. I am not a big fan of the super polished Instagram stories. If anybody follows me on the gram, you will know this. I don't do editing. I miss bits. I cuss like a sea, and then sometimes, and all kinds of things.
Jean, you?
No, not at all. Not me and my toast.
Not Jean.
But on like the topic of TikTok, this is something that I'm just constantly getting thrown at. Like, you need to be on it. You need to be doing it. And I just go, there's only so much time in the day. You know, by the time I just do the travel content stuff that I need to do, I've got 2 dogs. I panic bought 3 chickens when I came back to Australia 6 weeks ago. So I'm currently ruled by 3 sassy little chickens. I just look at TikTok and go, is this just another thing that I should be doing? So Darley, I want to know, are you on the TikToks?
So I'm not on the TikTok yet. And I'm like Eugene, you know, I kind of evaluate things as they come up. And I didn't do Vine when that sprung up back in the day. And then I was very glad, because if you go to people's Twitter accounts, you can still see like they were on Vine and they really worked on that. And then it just went away. There's a lot. So things come and go. I think you just, like anything, you really have to choose your medium or mediums and try to excel or engage at those. And also the medium may fit what you're doing best. So maybe TikTok is coming out and it's going to fit what you're doing best, or maybe you're back on Instagram Live or Instagram Stories or Facebook. So I think, like anything, there's only so many hours in the day, and you really have to pick and choose. But I do think it's fun to get into new things and experiment and see how it goes for you personally, because you may find, like, who knows what hidden talents you have that you didn't know about. Which
my
you
chickens.
get creative, right?
Like,
right.
Let's be honest, my chickens are probably going to go viral on TikTok.
That's actually, I think you should get on that right now. I think you should be there.
Done. Maria, can you take over? I've got to TikTok my chickens, but they're asleep right now. They'll be really angry if I wake them up. That's not even a lie, you guys. They're actually really quite vocal little chickens. So do you think, Darley, that for people like you and I and Kash, and certainly Roxy that's coming up, that's been in this content creator world for a long time, that the fear of going to something new like TikTok is because of things like Vine? You know, Vine was there. We saw a lot of our colleagues and our friends making really good incomes, getting great campaigns, and then literally it just wasn't there.
I do think that's a fear. I do think it's a fear. That's why I think you have to try to build almost your own brand equity. Like Kash has his own, for sure, specific brand and niche. I think if you have your own niche, you can cross to different platforms and come back and recenter when things go awry. But I think it's establishing yourself and what you're doing in a specific way. I do think that's an important branding tool that we can all use, no matter what you're doing or writing about. And if you're versatile, that's great. If you establish that you're versatile and you can write and then do this and that, those are great things too. But I think if you do have a specific niche or genre that you're working in, that's where you're going to be able to overcome the, what goes away and those flash in the pan social media things that do come and go, and those platforms that don't exist after a certain amount of time. But and I think just watching the trends and being aware that may happen and following it's a good thing.
Yeah, that's amazing advice. I hope that all the content creators out there have really taken that, is knowing your niche and knowing where to invest your time and your brand equity. It's something that, we seem to be quite happy to flick from one platform to another to try be the next best thing. And we forget that we're really good at something else. Awesome. Thanks for that, Darley. I'm going to bring up the delightful little Roxanne.
Hey.
Hello, friend.
Hello.
So, I'm not just picking on Roxanne because she is delightful and tiny. Roxanne actually goes by the blog name of The Tiny Taster.
That's me.
So, Roxanne, would you like to do the honor of giving everyone here a very short, 140 characters overview of who the Tiny Taster actually is?
The Tiny Taster is a labor of love. It is my website, it's my blog. I am a food and travel writer and content creator. And I just recently, well, not recently, but in the last year, launched my own private guided tours. So I call them the Tiny Taster Tours. And it's called the Tiny Taster because it started out essentially as a food blog, just a website dedicated to my food travels. And then it just became this culinary food blog, and it all merged into one. And now I just do food and travel together. And
Well, they kind of go hand in hand.
Well, I think so. And yeah, I'm also the chapter leader for Travel Massive in Mumbai.
Amazing. So if people out there don't know, Roxanne and I have had the delight of traveling together. And once, you know, this world of COVID and we all adapt to something new, I personally can't wait. It's on the top 10 list is to travel with Roxy again, whether that's me going to India or she can come to Australia or we both end up in South Africa.
I think that would be amazing. I cannot wait.
So, Roxy, like I've been following you and loving you for a long time and have seen you do this amazing tours where you take people to South Africa and you're showing such a different side of South Africa. You're showing some of the most beautiful areas and combining that with epic food and epic safaris. Like, how is your business surviving at the moment? Like, you can't leave your house.
No. So, I mean, I can leave my house for anything that's essential, just like a grocery run, or if I need to go to a medical store or something like that. But we are all in lockdown. India is in lockdown, and Mumbai. With how it's affecting on many levels. From a content creator side, as both Kash and you guys were talking about, income has sort of come to a halt, or it's slowed down massively. Traffic on the website has slowed down. Campaigns in terms of whether it's a tourism board or a travel company or an airline, everything's sort of slowed down, and rightly so. And then I can't even predict. So when I do my tours, it's not just to South Africa. That was one destination that I loved, so we've repeated it, and we were going to do the second tour 8 days from now, actually. And, it's not easy. It was something new for me. It was like a new business and exciting. And I partner with a local travel agency who's been in the game for the last 24 years. They're called Quantum Travels, and they do amazing stuff. And we had so much planned, obviously. I had a whole roster of what I wanted to announce and where we wanted to go and the kind of tours that we wanted to do. And everything has come to a pause. I mean, I can't even say when we can announce, or when, when people are like, oh, when are you going to do your next tour? I'm like, I have no idea. I personally don't think anything will happen this year.
Wow.
But, it is what it is. And some days it's easy to accept, some days it's really not. But everyone in the travel space that has any business, be it a restaurant, be it a hostel, a hotel, a travel company, airline, somebody that works in any of these, everyone's feeling it.
So would you say like your way of dealing with your feelings and your downtime at the moment is doing more cooking or less cooking? As someone who cooks a lot, yeah.
And I'll tell you, yeah. I enjoy cooking. It's funny because when I started, I hated to cook. I started a blog because I love to eat and I love food. But I find cooking therapeutic. And I decided that if I can't travel right now, and of course it's upsetting, you miss being at the places, whether it was personal travel or it was work travel, everything stopped. And you miss that, and you want to go back and you want to do that. And so instead of dwelling on that, I'm just trying to focus on other things. And I'm trying to revive my fledgling YouTube channel. So while I was constantly posting travel content, and now I don't have that. I have one video from Morocco, which I don't even know if I want to post that. I want to edit it and put it up because I just feel like now might not be the time. So maybe a little bit later. So I'm just using this time to get back in the kitchen. It's what I enjoy doing, learning new things, putting video content for that. I play a lot of Scrabble. As crazy as that sounds, I find it's really de-stressing. I think it's wonderful. Everyone should play Scrabble. And if you get on the app,
Scrabble with? Oh, you're on that app. Okay. Of course,
yeah,
there's an app for that. I should have known.
Yeah.
Content creator, should have known. There's an app for that, you guys.
Honey,
We're just going to have to start
everything.
a travel massive Scrabble tournament.
Oh
okay?
my God, I won't sleep. That's all I'll be doing. But yeah,
so I was
going to
keep
busy.
What should content creators be doing? But now we've just made that call, haven't we? All content creators should be joining us on Scrabble. You know, we will get some new
absolutely
out of it, expand some vocabularies out there. So for those of us who can't just sit around all day and play Scrabble, how are you finding it in your part of the world with campaigns? You know, we know that a lot of the travel campaigns have stopped, but anyone who follows you on Instagram stories would know you get sent some pretty epic PR stuff, some delicious food. And I just personally want to know, are you still getting these deliveries? Like, you get sweet treats and candies and spices and oils, and I'm really jealous. In Australia, we're not really seeing PR campaigns go ahead. There's no brand outreach.
It's almost the same over here. And the reason why I used to get what you were used to seeing is because I also do food content. So a lot of food brands, restaurants would get in touch and want to send their products for various associations. Everything has stopped right now because, like I said, we are in lockdown. So it's not that easy to get around and deliver things. It's actually, it's very hard for some people in different parts of the city to even have access to things. Like, I know you were mentioning that yeast was difficult for you to source in Australia. It's the same thing over here. Sometimes just a few items, like in between. We've been in lockdown since the 22nd of March or the 20th of March. I can't remember. And in between, there have been times where it's difficult to get things, like the shops can't restock. So I've been trying to use this time also to just use my social media to put out information. So if I would do it for any brand that I've worked with. I would do it for any brand that I haven't worked with, because I just feel like right now is the time that everyone needs to be hands-on and helpful. So I would be putting out messages saying, you know, you can get so-and-so products over here or this website and things like that. So it's only the essentials that are able to move. Now things have eased up a little bit. So I did get one package, I will be honest, and I was amazed. And they sent me, it's a brand that I've worked with before and I genuinely like, so I don't post stuff that I don't like. Quite brutal that way. And they sent me a message saying, you know, we'd like to send this to you just to make you feel good at this very depressing time. And I was like, are you crazy? Like, don't come here. I live in a hot zone, you know, like, I don't even want you to put your delivery guy at risk for being here. And they said, no, we've managed it and we've done it. So I did get one, but that was just an, you know, off thing. I don't think it's a regular thing. I don't think people can really move about that easily. Once the lockdown lifts, I think everyone will come back to want to put their messaging out for whatever their brands are, be it travel, be it food. But right now, everything is just paused.
Yeah. So not only are things paused with like you physically in India, but as content creators, we're seeing our affiliate programs are on pause. You mentioned some great things there about how we as content creators should be willing to help and continue to work with brands, you know, that we've enjoyed working with. And I'm like you, I'm so brutal. If I don't like it, I won't post it. Or if I have a bad experience, I will post about that. I post very authentic content, which doesn't always make me the most popular person at times. But what would you
Yeah,
say to the
yeah.
content creators who are out here, they're watching us tonight, or the affiliate companies, you know, or the brands that have affiliate programs who are putting things on pause? What would you say to the content creators about how to react to that?
I would say just don't freak out. I would say just take a moment. This is like a very, very long pause. And it's okay. I don't have the answers. I cannot predict anything. I don't think anybody can. This is an ever evolving situation, especially over here. It's like, you know, one day you think, oh, things are going to be okay. And then boom, in the news, it's like 100 more cases or 1,000 more tests. So it is very bleak and disturbing. To the content creators, I would say just hang in there. There are some brands that are doing campaigns, and of course I can only speak for India right now because that's where I am. I don't know if this is happening globally. Not in the travel space, rightly so, because you can't go anywhere. But there are other brands that are, and a lot of cross promotion happens. So sometimes even if you're a travel content creator, you know, you get something for like maybe Uber or Amazon Prime or Netflix or something like that. So there are some campaigns happening. They will get in touch with people, but obviously it's not going to be as you were used to. I just think my advice to everyone would be try and help where you can. That's what Kash was saying earlier, right? Like as a travel content creator, at your very crux, you want to help people. You want to give them that information. And that really stuck with me when he said that, because I truly believe that we write blogs, we create these amazing video pieces and things like that with information to help you plan your travel. So if at the crux what we do is helping people, why should that stop just because you can't get on a plane? You can still help by, you know, sending out messages that need to be sent out. So my advice to everyone would be is to just hang in there. It's not easy, but I don't think it's this black hole that, you know, we're never going to get out of, and we're never going to travel again. We're going to travel again. It's going to happen.
It's just going to be very different.
Yeah, and you got to take it a day at a time, or your mental health is going to go to pieces.
That's the thing. You just go like, every night you go to bed, the next morning we get up, something's changed. And I think for so many of us now, it's like before the change was, it's a location, I'm changing hotels, I'm changing countries. Now we're actually reading mainstream media and seeing changes in different countries that we can't be involved in. Like, you know, I can't come to India and harass you again for food. Not yet. It's going to happen.
At some point.
So do you think that for India moving forward, and just because that's where you're based, that domestic travel's going to be the next big thing?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it'll be the same across the board. I think whichever country you're in, the priority will be to visit or revisit your own country for many reasons. One is because it's going to be cheaper than any international travel that you do. That's one. And I think we don't talk about this a lot, that because when everyone says, oh, I can't wait to travel and I can't wait to do this, I feel very bad saying these things, because I personally know people who have either been sacked or lost their jobs, had to take a pay cut, incomes dried up, multiple things. So money is an issue. So I think when things ease up and they want to take a trip or they want to go somewhere, it's going to be more affordable to do it in their backyard or in their country. So that's one. And I think also it would be great for us to plow our money back into our own economy, like in your own country. We're fortunate enough to live in a beautiful country. There is so much to India. I get really annoyed when people say, oh, I've been to India. And I'm like, really, where'd you go? Delhi. That's it. Or Mumbai. That's it. I'm like, come on. You've not even seen like a percent. I mean, so I think there's a lot to see, and there are many, many national parks, hotels, resorts, airlines, everyone that you can give your money to help back. So I think that will be the first big thing. I also think that other countries, I don't know about India we'll see in the news. But I know some countries have shut down their borders for people. So physically, you're not going to be able to travel overseas. So I think the focus, and it should be domestic travel. I think you should first go slow and then see where everything happens.
Awesome. I love that. The go slow and just see what happens. All right, I'm going to bring Darley and Kash back. Where's he gone? Lovely. Don't you love it when you get to learn new technology, everybody? Yay. All right. So, quick round the town questions. Roxy's already answered my one about domestic travel. But what about you, Darley? Do you think domestic travel in America is going to be big? And double-edged question, where's the first place you're going to go to? Once you've got your magical ticket that can safely take you anywhere within the States, because it's domestic, where are you going to go?
I might go down to Florida and hit the beach, maybe Miami. I wanted to go to the French Caribbean, but I don't think I can necessarily make it there at this point. So that might be the closest thing. And I'll probably do some driving trips and go up. My dad's in Maine. I'll go up to Maine, hang out up there. But yeah, domestic travel is going to be where it's at for quite a while. We're not going to be able to go, as Roxanne said, abroad. And I do think that's going to be, people are going to be wanting, though, to travel and to go places. So I do think that's going to, I've been hearing and reading that road trips are going to be where it's at. I think people are going to be looking to take nature escapes, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's good for our souls. It's good for our bodies and minds to get out there in nature. And looking for places where they can easily social distance still, and places that really do take it to mind health and hygiene. As basic as that sounds, people are going to be asking questions about that. And so if you know, for the destinations and providers out there, hope that's part of your marketing plan coming up, because I know if I'm going somewhere, that's going to be something that I'm thinking about.
Amazing. And what about you, Kash? First place you're going to go once you can freely travel around?
Probably head up to Hamburg. It's one of our favorite cities. We have a lot of friends there, and it's a wonderful destination. There was supposed to be a Beatles festival because it's the anniversary, I think, the 50-year anniversary of the Beatles coming to Hamburg. So that festival's been cancelled, but I wanted to hang out with a few friends and do my own little Beatles walking tour, self-guided walking tour, and check out the spots, and and have a few beers with friends.
Yeah, Hamburg, we did find out in our very brief trip to Europe this year that they have great beer and great coffee. So both my partner and I were very happy with that.
Yeah,
getting around and eating ourselves absolutely stupid because there wasn't much else to do with things being closed. Right, so Darley, did you make spaghetti? So I'm looking at some of the questions that have come through. Someone's dropped a comment that your spaghetti looked pretty good.
That is so funny. Yes, I actually made a homemade bolognese sauce the other night. And I had a standoff where my spaghetti was there. The cat was on the other side. I took a picture and posted it on social media. I was like, look at my wonderful dinner companion. So yeah, that's that cooking that I'm doing so well right now. Actually, it was really good. And then I froze some so I can have it again.
I like that. You're cooking and you're planning for the future, Darley, because she's going to be hungry too. So this is a big question. If anyone wants to answer this, feel free. Will CVBs be working with smaller budgets going forward, and how can/should travel influencers adjust to continue to make a living while still maintaining and developing relationships with destinations? Darley, do you want to tackle this one? Yes, go for it.
They will. Yeah, everyone. I think a lot of, not only smaller CVBs, I think country-run, state-run tourism entities, airlines, of course. People are going to be dealing with smaller budgets. I think we got to think outside the box and look to work with other partners in some way, and just get multiple partners on different things that we're doing. And I mean, it's going to be the only way to make things happen. And again, and looking at not necessarily like cost cutting on your end, but ways that you can do things economically. And maybe they're, again, more lives, more social. Maybe it's not the high produced video because there's not a budget for that, or maybe eventually it is. But I think, things are going to change, and we're going to have to get creative and crafty with the way that we put things together.
So, Kash, are you going to be getting creative and crafty?
I always am creative and crafty. It's the name of the game in content creation. I think the content creators that will come out top in this situation are the ones that really invested in their skills and really created a community. I think those are the people that will benefit in this post COVID era of travel, where we talked about influencers giving a damn and caring about their readers and investing in their readers. And I think you talked about video content creation skills. I think it's good to leave things to the specialists, but it's also good to partner with the specialists. So I think collaboration will be very important, supporting each other more than ever before. So, yeah.
Amazing. So I'm a big believer in collaboration between content creators. In Australia, and even recently a trip to Japan, I've done it with other content creators and presented that to the tourism boards. You don't need to do a bespoke trip for us. We're going to be here. How can we actually work together? And I'm just going to say, gotten really good feedback and really good engagement from the tourism boards for these campaigns.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that we should be considering moving forward, especially for those of us who will be able to travel domestically. Is I think that domestic tourism boards are going to be looking for the content creators who are nearby, and just doing a trip with one person or a couple is not going to be high value compared to doing a trip with sort of 4 or 5 people. So we've got one last big question that Ian's throwing out at us. What is the one thing you dream about that can be changed or improved in the content creation industry when we all get to return to travel? Go on, Roxy, you go first.
I think for me, I really hope and dream that it will stop being a numbers game. I don't know how it is anywhere else, but where I'm sitting, everything is a numbers game. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to do some amazing work and have great campaigns, even though I don't have these bombastic, and I'm gonna just say it, inflated numbers. So I hope people will look at quality and what you can bring to the table and your interaction with your audience more than just how many zeros there are, in your numbers. That's me.
And you, Darley? What would you like to see changed, improved for the better?
I think actually what you were saying, Jean and Kash and everyone as well, about collaborating. I think this is a great time and a great opportunity to cross borders. And maybe there are creative ways to collaborate with people in other countries and destinations that we haven't thought about yet in a creative way on the content side. Of course, domestically too, but I think it's a great time to join forces. And I think that's a positive thing to look forward to and change that would be awesome for everybody.
I really look forward to that. You and I are going to do something horse ridey in our own countries.
Let's do it.
Kash, last question for you, my friend. You've already mentioned a little bit, but what's that number one thing that you really want to see improved?
I just would like to see, as I said before, I would like the content creators to be more, I think there's going to be a major shakedown. We don't know how long this is going to last, but what I'd like to see is the people that truly care about travel and want to invest in making travel a better experience for people are the ones that will be there at the finishing line when this all madness is all over. And I would like to see because when I started in the blogging community, a lot of those people are still around. Those people genuinely care about travel. And I even say this, that even if tomorrow somebody told me, that's it, you're not going to get paid another cent, would you still do your blog? And I say 120% yes. This is what I love. This is my passion.
Yeah.
These people who are in this room together with us are my people, my tribe.
Yeah.
So I just want to see the false the ones that are in just for the money and the glory, those ones
Yes.
disappear and find another job.
Well,
Yeah, yeah.
a job. All praise ISO champ Kash for his words of wisdom. All right, guys, I'm just going to say a huge thank you to everyone who has joined us tonight. A massive thank you to Roxy, Darley, and Kash for joining us and sharing their words of wisdom. It's a unique time to be out. It's a unique time to be a content creator, and it's one of those situations we can do a lot, and it's also okay not to do a lot if you need to. It's okay not to be producing 10 YouTube videos a week or baking 3 different types of bread or burning them, as I have. Now, if you guys go to the event page, you can see Roxanne, Darley, and Kash's links to their Travel Massive profiles that has their websites. Give them a follow, see what they're doing on Twitters or the Instagrams. And for those who are asking, yes, I'm going to create a TikTok for my chickens. And we are going to set up a Travel Massive Scrabble campaign. No, not campaign, sorry, challenge. All right, guys. So thank you so much. And we will see you somewhere along the road sometime soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Thank you.
Hi, guys. Bye.